Hello, hello. Good evening. We're gonna do a cocktail. Tonight we're gonna do a variation of the Basil Hayden iced coffee. So again, this is not the original cocktail. Was not my cocktail. So the Basil Hayden iced coffee is just this amazing, smooth coffee blend of bourbon and cold brew coffee. It just tastes excellent. So, but I wanted to play with that, and what inspired this was Thanksgiving. Every time we have the family over and we're doing our huge feast, and everyone wants to have pie afterwards and ice cream afterwards, and they always want that with a cup of coffee. I personally start having my cocktails at that time, so I'm not doing the coffee, but I like to have my coffee drinks in the morning and my breakfast cocktails in the morning. So I wanted to create something that was sort of reminiscent of that moment of everybody sitting around together having some pie and coffee at the same time. So so what we did was, this right here is the apple cinnamon bourbon that I usually create around fall, and it's you could find that video on the YouTube channel that shows you what's put in there and you know the process of making it. So it's not very challenging at all. But it does take about 3 weeks for it to get to the flavor that you're going to want. So all said and done, it's got Granny Smith apples and cinnamon and vanilla in it. It's just this amazing bourbon that you could drink. You can make all kinds of stuff with it, or you can just sip it straight. Sip it neat or on a rock. So we're just going to do a hint of that because there is a lot of flavor in that. So so we're going to play with that, and we're going to use a little bit of, in this case, we're going to do the 114, the old granddad 114. I like to just pair it with something that's got a good hearty flavor to it, because again, this apple cinnamon is so strong, full of flavor. So you want something that's gonna pair well with that. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to start with 1 ounce of Old Granddad. It is going to have a little bit of a kick to it as well because it is 114 proof. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then we're going to go with the apple and cinnamon. It's like it tastes and smells like apple pie. It's pretty awesome. Yes, indeed. There we go. All right. The original Basil Hayden one obviously uses Basil Hayden whiskey, but we're not doing that. So, and then it does call for a cold brew coffee, and that's pretty much it, along with some chocolate bitters and various things, some syrup. So we're actually going to add in a little bit of a coffee liqueur. This particular one I actually like. This one, what is it? Espresso shot. It's actually made with some rum, so it has a little bit of that kind of rum flavor to it. And again, the reason why I chose this is because this drink calls for a Demerara sugar syrup, which we created here. Very similar to making your granulated sugar, only you're using the Demerara sugar. And I usually do, instead of 1 full cup of the Demerara sugar and 1 cup of water, I'll do ½ cup of Demerara and ½ cup of granulated sugar, of white granulated sugar, and then 1 cup of water. Otherwise it gets really, really dark. It's really flavorful. So this espresso, we're gonna go ahead and do ½ an ounce of that. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and do, on the simple syrup, I believe it is half, yeah. So let's go ahead and do, actually it's parts. So since we did 2 parts, we're going to go 1 ounce. The Demerara. There we go. We're going to go 3 dashes of a chocolate bitter. This one is chocolate chili bitters. We're going to go 3 dashes of that. Go. And then lastly, you're going to put your cold brew in there. So sometimes I'll actually brew up some espresso and then I'll just chill it for a little bit and dump that in there because I really like espresso and I like really rich coffee. So That's what I like to use. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and just do some canned stuff. This tasty cold brew coffee. It's pretty flavorful. I've had it before. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to go 1.5 ounces. There we go. That's ready for some ice. Mm-hmm. It smells divine. Okay. We're going to use some larger cubes so we don't over dilute. So a little stir here. This is just going to pour over one large rock, and it gets a dusting of nutmeg. Again, the original, the Basil Hayden one, is just nutmeg. This one I like to put just a touch of the cinnamon on there as well, since we're playing with that cinnamon flavor. About there. Just dust that nutmeg right on top of that ice rock. It'll just sit right there. Like that. And then, like I said, I do like to throw just a scooch of cinnamon on there as well. Okay. We're going to take one slice of our apple. Be a nice color of green and brown. Shove that little guy right on in there like that. Throw a cinnamon stick there, and that's it. We're going to call this one Yuletide Café. Cheers, my friend.